I've literally just had the best news, like literally the best news I could hope for. I am finally getting my hair cut. 6th of June, getting this sorted. Hello people of the internet. Today's video is 3 things that will up your photo game instantly. That may seem like a bit of a bold statement to make, but these are things that I use constantly in every photo that I take, especially product photography. Most of you that are watching this are magicians and mentalists, so we're talking about product photography mainly. You're going to have decks of cards and other things that you're going to want to photograph and show off. So these are 3 things that I use in every photo that I take, especially at the moment for Instagram in particular. And we're going to use this deck of cards, which is Damien O'Brien's Hanya deck. And I've taken a photo already, and I've used these tips just to show you exactly what it is that I do. So the first thing that I think about when I take any photo is lighting. Lighting is the most important part of this. Now, if your lighting isn't good, your photo's not going to be good. Simple fact. If you don't have like a softbox or anything like that, the best thing to do is to get close to a window. The window light, the natural daylight, is the best source of light to use. So the daylight is naturally diffused by the window itself. Now, I have found that when it is sunny outside, that it can overexpose the photo. So what I used to do was I used to get kitchen roll and tape that to the window, giving that softer look. Now, the best daylight to shoot in is when it's overcast. So when the clouds are out, it naturally diffuses that light. I know I keep saying it diffuses the light, but let's just move on from there. So now we've sorted the lighting out, we need to think about our next tip, which is props. I always use props with 90% of the photos that I do. So with this deck being Japanese themed, I would have really loved to have used a bonsai tree or a Japanese maple leaf or even a samurai sword, a Hanya mask, that'd have been good. But I didn't have any of those things. So I didn't have any of the props I wanted to use. So for me, I just thought about texture. So that may sound daft, but I find that a lot of photos look better when there's texture in them. So I got a chopping board from the kitchen. Excuse the hedgehog, but it was the only chopping board that I had. But I liked the texture on it, the colour, it really stood out. So one of the other things that I've used in the past for photos is baking trays. Turn them round, the textures, the different contrast of colours, just really adds a layer to it that just seems to make it stand out and pop and be different to other people's photos. So once I placed the chopping board down, I grabbed a stone. I used the stone for 2 reasons. Firstly, I needed to heighten the deck to get that natural daylight on it. If I'd have left the deck on the windowsill, it wouldn't have been at the right height to correctly light the product. So I used that rock to really position it correctly. And the other reason is the texture of it. The texture was just so good that I couldn't not use it. So once I had those 2 things in place, I played around with different shots. Now I would suggest actually playing around with angles. I was limited with space on this one, so I had to really just stick to almost dead on. So I turned the deck slightly just to give it that contrast. So the third tip is to use things like a jar, your fingers, anything that can really add a blurred element to the front of the lens. Now if I put my fingers here, you will see that it gives like an out of focus element to it. So what I did is I put my fingers to the lens to give that out of focus element. You've already got the chopping board out of focus at the background, and then you've got my fingers out of focus, but you can't tell that they're my fingers because of the way that I placed them. And what that did was it framed the product. So the other thing that I did is I placed a glass jar there, and I played around with it because I noticed that some angles, if you notice how the light changes slightly on that. So where I played around with different angles on there to get different light exposures and different contrasts. Another idea would be to get some playing cards, put them around the lens, make a little circle and shoot through that, making sure that the product is in focus and not the playing cards. Although keeping the playing cards in focus and then having that blurred out, play around with it. So these are the raw images. So as you can see, the raw photos on their own, before any editing or anything like that, look amazing as they are, just from those tips. However, my style, I like the edits, so I've applied my edits just because this is art. Photography is an art form. It's down to your taste and your liking. So if you want to edit them, edit them. If you don't, don't. It's how you perceive this. These tips are just tips, they're that. If you use them, amazing. If you don't, you don't. So that's it for this video. I will be doing more tips and tricks and everything that I know about photography and cinematography in the future. Let me know in the comments below what it is you would like to see, what it is you would like to learn. So that's it. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you're reminded every time I upload a video. And as always, take it easy.